friends, Sam here with Happily Hooked. So today I'm going to show you guys how to take this hank of yarn and turn it into a workable ball of yarn. I will have a video up in a couple days that'll show you how to use a yarn winder and a swift, but for now we're just going to take this hank and turn it into a workable ball of yarn for you to crochet with. That way you guys can buy these pretty skeins. You can get hand-dyed indie yarn. You can buy the hanks from yarn companies. I'm so excited to show you guys how to do this. I do want to give you a heads up. I am recording in my living room today just so I had some room to show you guys how to do this. So you might hear some background noise outside of my window. I live on a pretty quiet street, but sometimes cars and trucks do drive by. So I just wanted to let you know, if you hear weird noise, it's probably that. So I'm gonna get ready for you guys, show you guys how to turn this into a ball of yarn, and I can't wait. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those in the comments below. Hi friends, real quick, if you guys wanna find out how to join the coolest crochet community on the internet, make sure you check out the link in the description below, and I cannot wait to see you in the community. Okay, so for this, all you're going to do is you're gonna take your hank of yarn, and they normally are just twisted together. So you're going to unloop the two ends like this, and then just drop that and let it unravel all on its own. So you can pinch it together to make sure you don't lose any of the yarn, and just shake it on out. And you want to kind of keep it nice and tight so that way you don't get it tangled up or lose any pieces or anything like that. And as you can see, I've got a little here, there's little tiny ties, and they're all throughout the yarn. And then obviously we have the tag here. So for the tag, what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna take my scissors, and I'm not gonna cut the yarn. I'm gonna cut the tag itself. And undo that, and then make sure that little loop isn't a knot. A lot of times yarn doesn't have this, but that's just a way to make sure that you're good to go, and we'll put that back in. It looks like this one drops down. So then we're gonna take our scissors. You can pull these apart if you want to make it completely no equipment. I'm gonna use my scissors and just cut right underneath that knot and pull that extra piece of yarn out. And then keeping the yarn like this, we're gonna go over to our main knot, and you'll be able to tell the difference between the main knot that has your end and your beginning and the other knots is because there's way more strands of yarn tied into this. So again, I'm gonna cut right underneath that knot and pull out that extra piece of yarn. And then you'll see the beginning of my hank falls down there. So holding on to it so we don't get it all tangled up and we don't get it all messed up, this is what you're gonna do. So you're gonna take this, put your arms through it, pull it nice and tight, and you can pull it tight, it won't hurt it right now. And you're gonna sit up on your couch with your knees bent, and you're gonna lay this over your knees. And if you can't do this, if your body doesn't allow you, or you don't have the mobility to, you can always take your hank and grab a pillow or a cushion and wrap it around that as well. And you can use that too. Or you can use the back of a chair or the chair legs. I have benches at my kitchen table, so that doesn't work for me. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it over our knees, and this is how we're going to start winding our ball of yarn. All right, so we have our hank around our knees. I lowered my camera just a little bit so you guys could see. And we're going to find this end. And we're gonna slowly start unraveling it. Now don't go too far. I do one big loop. And then what you do is you take this end and you kind of make a peace sign, and you start wrapping the yarn a couple times around your peace sign. You want to have a little bit of room there so that way we're not making it too tight. And then you just kind of follow and unravel a little bit at a time. You don't want to do too much, or else you're going to end up knotted and tangled and everything like that. So we've got this done, and we're gonna slide it off of our fingers. It's the other reason why you want the peace sign. And we're gonna squish this ball, and we're gonna start wrapping it around the other way, so over to kind of make it into a little bow. So we're gonna unravel a little bit of yarn and make a little bow, and we're gonna do this for a little bit. And then we're gonna turn it again and start going over. And now you can see it on this side. I start wrapping over my thumb to give it a little bit of space in between the ball and the yarn that I'm working with. And that's just so the ball isn't too tight and it doesn't stretch out the fibers in your yarn. So I just leave my thumb there for just a couple of these, just to give it a little bit more space and a little bit of ease. And as we go, I just kind of follow the hank of yarn, and then I'll unpinch it, twist it, and do it again. And you just kind of keep doing this over and over and over, and you keep twisting the ball. And you'll do that until you kind of see that your little ball is all on its own. It's its own little piece of the universe. So we keep going. Keep going. Kind of looks like a little square. That's okay. And then I just start twisting the ball as I wrap. And that's what's gonna turn it into an actual ball and not just like a little rectangle or a little ring of yarn or anything like that. So I just keep going. And now we have this little tiny, with my hair in it, ball of yarn. So this is the beginning of it. And we just continue to do this all the way around as we go, and you'll have a ball of yarn at the end of it. Now, if you needed to stop for some reason, one of the easiest ways for me to stop is I will take my hank and I'll grab it with my fingers and I'll hold it up like this, and I will put it over a hanger, and then this little tiny ball of yarn would go in a tote bag, and then I'd hang this tote bag over the hanger as well with the ball of yarn inside of it, so that way they don't get lost. But I'm gonna keep winding, and I will be back with you guys here in just a second. All right, so as we get to the end, you can see I don't have very much left. You want to make sure that you're winding very carefully because it will try and knot on you. And if it does, if it tries to knot anywhere throughout this entire winding process, you want to make sure that you unknot it before you keep going. Don't try and pull on it and get it all done because it'll come back and you'll have to fix it later on. So just make sure that you unknot it and untangle it before you keep going. So we just finished our little ball of yarn. A couple things that I do want to know, as you're winding it around in the middle of it, make sure this ball is moving all around or you're gonna start getting dimples from where you hold your finger on that ball of yarn. So there'll be little holes in your yarn ball and you want to make sure that it's even all the way around. So you can see it's pretty even for a little yarn ball. And that took me, now this is sock weight yarn, let's see. This is 231 yards of a sock weight yarn. And this took me about 7 minutes to wind it up from start to end. It's obviously going to depend on how many yards you have, how knotted up your yarn is, because sometimes it gets pretty tangled. So that's how you make a yarn ball. And it's pretty nice. It's little and small and easily portable. You just have your tail that works here. Now obviously it will, if you just toss it in a bag, it will start to unravel. I always try to keep my projects in smaller bags together as I work on them so that way it's not so bad. But this helps so much, especially if you need to crochet with two colors together or you're working on color work. But I love hand-dyed yarn, I love indie yarn, I love hanks of yarn. I feel like it doesn't stretch out the yarn as much as if it's in a skein already. So yeah, just make sure when you're winding it, you're not pulling real tight on it, you're just holding a nice loose tension in your fingers. There's no specific way to hold it. But yeah, so we have a little yarn ball and we are ready to start crocheting. So like I said, if you have any questions, leave those in the comments below. And I also want to know, are you a center pole, like a yarn cake kind of person, or are you a yarn ball kind of person? Because I'd love to see the difference in our community and see which one is preferred. I prefer probably the center pole skeins just because they're easier to hold on to, but I do love working with yarn balls. I think they're super cute too, and I decorate with them all the time. If I have a bunch of extra pieces of yarn left over, I will turn them into little tiny balls, and I have a little jar that I keep them in because I think they're so cute. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.